Hi guys, welcome back to the desk corner and welcome to a new video. So I promised you guys a while back that I would show another coloring book page here on my channel after I filled out this one, the kind of introduction page of my new coloring book on camera. This is an enchanting coloring book, so it has a lot of kind of spooky and whimsical and even fantastical kind of vibes to it. And it's very magical. I thought it would work perfectly to color one of these pages for Halloween, as some of the pages just seem like they could be Halloween themed. So I did a quick flip through to try and find some of the most Halloween-like pages. There was this crow, a wolf, there were a couple of potion bottles, and an owl in the night sky, but I really wanted to go in and find the most Halloween of all the Halloween-like pages, which they just seem to have a lot of pages that could work for Halloween. So there's also this bat in the cave. And then I also saw this raven, and I liked the idea of doing the raven as well. By the way, I know this flip through is so fast. If you guys want to see an actual flip through of this book and me talking about it a bit, I posted a video not too long ago. I'll just link it in the description down below and you could check it out if you're interested in actually seeing all the pages. This book is incredibly detailed and just really, really gorgeous. But for this video's sake, I just wanted to choose a page to start coloring. Bats often live in caves, enveloped in darkness during the day before emerging into the world each evening. As nocturnal creatures, they can be associated with black magic. However, when dusk creeps in and hundreds of them flood the sky at once, they can be symbols of rebirth and new beginnings. So obviously, I went with the bat here. I love that there's little descriptions included for each page, by the way. What pencils do I trust to do the job? None other than the Polychromos, because these are my hardest or firmest lead pencil, and with all of those tiny little details, I want to make sure I have pencils that are just going to keep sharp, the same ones I used for this first page if you saw me do that video, and boy, were those details difficult even with the firm lead of the Polychromos pencil. I decided to tackle the background first, and I pulled out my brighter colors, some purples and blues. One of the purposes of me getting a coloring book was so that I would use my brighter colors more often, as I don't always use them in my work. Unfortunately, I seem to use a lot more of my neutrals in my work, so I thought this would be a good way for me to put more use to the pencils or the colors that kind of just sit there most of the time. So I ended up pulling out sky blue and cobalt blue and indanthrene blue, as well as blue violet, purple violet, just violet, and mauve. So a nice array of blues and purples to create this background, this cave wall, these icicles and crystals and all sorts of different things that you have in the background here. And I wasn't so sure what color I wanted the bat to be at this point. My original thought was to make the bat purple and blue, but then I thought maybe that would be too obvious, as you know, that would be maybe more on the realistic side, so I decided to just scrap that idea and make this more fantastical than realistic. My technique here was actually very basic. I'm not using a ton of colors, really just a few, and I'm just creating some gradations, I guess, of color from the purple to the blue. I want some of the areas to look a lot darker than others and stand out. And besides that, I really just wanted to keep it simple. I didn't want to put in 5 million colors in the background because I wanted the bat to stand out a little bit more, even though at this stage I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with the bat. While we are on the topic of Halloween, I'm wondering if you guys are doing any Halloween themed artwork, and if so, what are you planning to do? I know it's very fun to go all spooky this month, and I have a couple more things planned for my channel. Hopefully I'll get those out in time for you guys. And I've seen a couple of other art YouTubers here in the community posting some spooky related stuff as well. So it's definitely a very fun time of the year for artists between the drawing challenge of the month if you are doing Inktober, Drawtober, and also just the spooky and creepy themed drawings as well, or the autumn themed drawings for those of you that don't necessarily enjoy spooky stuff or Halloween. I personally really do like creating Halloween themed stuff around this time of the year, and I do celebrate Christmas, so I like also creating Christmas themed stuff at that time of the year. It just feels very festive and also brings out more creative energy in me because I'm feeling in the mood to create stuff like that at that time. It's fun to look back on those things through the years too, so you will be seeing some Christmas stuff from me towards the end of the year as well. I just like to do my seasonal artwork. Now keep in mind, this is my first coloring book. I don't have coloring books. I'd like to collect some more over time after I actually make more progress with this one, but since this one has so many designs and pages, I don't even want to go down that road of buying more at the moment. I think I'd rather fill in more of this one first. I'm curious, for those of you guys that own more coloring books, or perhaps if you consider yourself a colorist, you do this as a hobby very often, I'd like to know if you have any recommendations for coloring books that have better paper, maybe thicker paper, or paper that has a decent tooth to it, because one thing I do notice about this coloring book is that it's kind of hard to build up layers because the paper is a little bit smooth and it isn't in any way thin to the point where it's going to crumble or it's going to dent by me putting extra pressure on it, but at the same time it can't hold a ton of layers either. So for those of you that like to use coloring books, how do you get past this issue? Or do you find that some books seem to have better pages than others for building up layers? See, I was trying to build up some shadow, but it ended up looking a little bit funny. Maybe I was putting too much pressure on the paper at this point, even though I was trying to be kind of gentle with it. You could see at the top there, though, there's a lot of unevenness and things on the top of that purple cave wall, but you know what, that's alright. It didn't really matter to me too much, and I was still able to get enough of my darks in that I had contrast in the picture, which is what I cared about really. I decided not to go with ultra dark and add black into this just because the background of the bat is already black, and so I wanted this to be more bright and colorful. As I mentioned before, I didn't want to go the entirely realistic route, so that's why we're using all of these brighter colors. Again, that's the reason why I purchased a coloring book for myself in the first place, was to use some of those colors that sadly just sit there, and you'll really see when I get to the bat that I'm going to be choosing some quite vibrant and bright colors compared to what I usually would choose to use in my work. And by the way, you guys, I do have my Patreon set up. There's a lot of real-time content on there at this point. I started it in August, and I've kind of just been posting a lot of my real-time versions of my footage of my drawings since then. And so there is quite a lot over there. Go ahead and check it out if you're interested in it. I have a lot of fun with that, doing voiceovers for some of those real-time videos as well. And gosh, I just wish I had some more time to really focus on those and turn them into full-length voiceovered or narrated videos. There's just not enough time for me to do that, but a lot of them are narrated and they're all in real time, so you can really see what I'm doing if you're interested in that. Link is in the description. That's it for the self-promo today. I used to tell you guys go ahead and follow me on Instagram, and you can if you'd like to. The link is always in my description. However, I'm very bad with Instagram. I haven't really been posting on there. Occasionally I'll post polls in my story, and I want to do that more often, maybe as a means to create polls and things like that for video ideas, even though I have that feature available in the community tab here on YouTube as well. But I might be using Instagram for that, even though I don't really like to post on there too often. So that's why I don't really tell you guys, go follow me on Instagram. There isn't very much to see there, trust me. Back to the page though, you could see I'm finishing up here, and really this cave background is starting to look like a labyrinth of sorts. It's very magical looking and beautiful. There's so much of that icicle stuff on the top of the cave wall, as well as so many crystals too. I really wish that I had chosen another color for the crystals so they would stand out against the background of the cave, but that's okay because I didn't want the background to be the main focus anyways. But if I could go back and change anything, that is probably what I would change. And even though I'm not going to be coloring this book in order, I think it would be interesting for me to see if I make progress in the skills of my coloring, if that makes sense, over time. So I might actually go back and date these. I will date the original page with whatever day I posted that video because that's close enough for the first page that I did on camera, and then I will go ahead and date this page as well and try to remember to do it with the rest of my pages and see if I do make any progress, and also keep track of how long this takes me to go through. So at this point, you can see I decided to go with this crazy idea of coloring the bat in the color of fire. I pulled out deep scarlet, I pulled out, I think, cadmium orange, deep chrome yellow, or dark chrome yellow, I think, and I decided to just go with this really fiery orange-red color. It's not exactly quite complementary with the other colors I'm using, but very close anyway, and I will go back to tweak the background later to kind of help it to match a little bit more. But I wanted that bat to just stand out, just look a little bit different than how you would expect a bat to look. I didn't bother with filling in all those little details, by the way, because my hand was starting to cramp at this point, and I don't have this issue when I'm just doing normal coloring, not coloring books, when I'm just doing normal pieces with colored pencil, but I think it's all the tiny details of this book that just cramp my hand. Oh, you'll see me go in with purple violet to try and add some shadow to the bat. And then you'll see me go in with my deep scarlet red and add some of that to the purple areas in the background and just sort of match that color on the bat. I really think that this addition helped the picture to come together. That's about all I have for you guys in today's video. Despite the hand cramps, I actually have thoroughly enjoyed using this coloring book so far. Let me know what you guys think if you want to see me do more coloring book pages on camera. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this thoroughly, and happy early Halloween, of course. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!